talking to them.
Busy weekend. Mahalo for coming to our talk story. I am Chris Hazard. I'm the president of Kayapua Canoe Club.
Yay! Yay, Chris!
And we are putting on the Queen Liliuokalani Canoe Race, which we do every year. And this is one of our most special talk stories. We are here at this beautiful Palace. So I would like to introduce to you all Manu Powers. And Manu is the executive director, president, sorry. She too is the president. She is the president and the Daughters of Hawaii and represents the palace. Oh, lots of applause.
Are you going to go home and go to sleep now?
That's Tuesday.
Well, I'm so sorry. Aloha, everybody. I'm Lenny Powers, and welcome. It's a long weekend, so we're not firing on all cylinders exactly, so I ask for your grace, but it is really lovely to have everyone here. It's a nice turnout on this beautiful day, and it turned out to be a little cooler than I imagined it would be when I came from Malka to Makai this morning, or excuse me, this afternoon. I'm really excited about this particular event. We had a lovely event last night. Congratulations to Chris and her team. The International Paddlers Night was a wonderful success. We have teams here. I was paddling this weekend. Oh, nice. So teams from the Mohawk Nation are here, from Auckland, from Tahiti, and I told the team from Tahiti to please take it easy on our guys. I tried to fly them with beer. The rest is up to you guys, but it's a really, really significant weekend in this town, as we know. It's the single largest cultural event. The second one being a little parade that runs through here in June. And so this one is very special to us because it's culturally based and it includes people from all over the world. Oh, am I not speaking into it? Can you hear me?
That's better.
That's
There we
better.
go.
Now
We can hear you.
This is not my jam. So this is a significant weekend for us here in the Palace as well. It's an opportunity for us to share what we do here in the Daughters of Hawaii in the preservation of Pu'uke'e Palace with our community as well as with the world. The Daughters of Hawaii are the stewards of this particular palace, Hanaya Kamomama, which is over in Nuku'ana Valley, as well as the birth site of Kauai Keaoli, the in Keohobe, Kamehameha III. So some pretty significant kuleana, and again, this being one of the more significant weekends for us, it's a big deal, and so having you here is very special to us. I'd like to introduce Kumu Maika. So come on up, Kumu. We're super casual today, right? Kumu Maika, how many of you have seen or heard Kumu Maika perform before? Anybody? Oh, one person. You guys are in for a treat. It's a good event to come to. This man is special to us as a friend and as a practitioner. He's an amazing kumuhula. He's also a fashion designer and showed at Paris Fashion Week and London Fashion Week and New York in Milan. He's kind of a big deal. Just ask him, right? He is a big deal, and he does some really incredible work. And I encourage you to check out his fashion line and pick yourself up one of his Aloha shirts. My husband has a habit of doing that, unfortunately, at any events that we go to. So, we've asked Kumu to share with us today because a couple of years ago, you were here, and Kumu was talking about the currents and the water out here in front of Pu'uke'e Palace, and we were riveted. And we thought how appropriate to share during this particular event. And so I'm not going to hold on to this any longer. I'm going to give it to you to share with these members. But I just wanted to say mahalo to you for being here. Mahalo to Chris for organizing. Mahalo for everyone who showed up today. You're in, like I said, for a very special talk story. And you'll understand why as soon as he takes the microphone. No pressure. So without further ado.
Aloha kako. Can you hear me on that, please? It sort of lost my voice a little bit, so I'll just yell into this thing. Can you hear it?
Yeah, close to your mouth.
Thank you so much for having me and for inviting me to talk story. I am part Portuguese, so that means that I like to talk. So you really are in for a treat. It seems a little odd to sit down. I'm a busy person. I do all kinds of things, and I'm involved in everything. So I grew up, I'm born and raised in Waimea on this island. So up north, where all the cows and the horses are. I was raised in Paniolo country. My grandparents are from Waimea, from Waipi'ogali. My last name Kamohoali'i comes from Waipi'ogali. And it actually has, even though I live in the mountains, it has a lot to do with the ocean. So my last name Kamohoali'i is the fire goddess Pele. Her oldest brother is the shark god Kamohoali'i. So my family genealogy comes from him, so from the ocean, but odd, we live up in the mountains. So we tell people we're the land sharks. We're the inland sharks, that's up on the top. But it really, that side of the family comes from Waipi'ogali. And so all the shark things and practices from Waipi'ogali. My grandmother's family on my mother's side, they come from the district of Kohala. So they're not just Waimea, but they're up north in Kohala Loko, we know it as, which is where Kohala town is when you think of Kohala, up there. My father's side of the family comes from South Kona. So my grandmother, the last name is Akiona, if you've heard that here from Kona. And so my grandmother's family is all from Ke'e and from Napo'opo'o or from Kealakekua. So it's it's nice having family from different parts of the island because there's something I learned more recently, or maybe something that I've noticed more recently, is that I guess I've learned this all my life, but I've noticed this more recently, is that it's Hawaiian style not to maha'oi. You know what is maha'oi? It's heard that term maha'oi. Hopefully nobody yell at you maha'oi. That's not really maha'oi means to be sort of nosy and sort of rude, and to inject yourself into something, or interject yourself into something that maybe you shouldn't be in. And so it's sort of like not your place. And so Hawaiian style, and this is where the more recently, because I've asked some of my halau, I'm a kumuhula, I've asked the halau. We were doing dances about Puna, about the volcano. And I'd asked them, have you guys been down to these parts of the volcano? And I was surprised that a lot of my halau members said, I've never been to Puna. And I thought, really? We've been born and raised on this island for like 40 generations. You've never been to Puna? Like, I've never been to South Kona either. You know, and so I thought, oh, why? I was fortunate that my family came from around the island, that we were forced to go around the island. But I realized that Waimea families that didn't have ohana there, they considered it maha'oi. That, oh, we never did go maha'oi over there. We had no kuleana. We had no responsibilities to be there in Puna, so we never went. We didn't have any kuleanas in South Kona or Ka'u, so we never went. And this just kind of transpired more recently, that I realized, oh wow, that's odd. My auntie's 80 years old and she's like, I've never been to South Point, but I've never left this island. And I thought, oh, thank God we have the chants, because the chants take us on this journey with all the words and all the dancing and the movements, take us on the journey and all the imagery of all these places. So as today, it's also the excuse to go to these places to be able to offer that mele or that song to these places. So I'm lucky in the way that my family comes from many parts of the island, that we're here in Kona. We often came to Kona and down to Tutu's house down in Ke'e to learn about the family legacy and all the things that are in our ohana and what our family had did in fishing practices, and be able to learn about the ocean currents and how that shapes the community. So I tell people in my talks all the time that your geography is what shapes the people or the kanaka of the place. Yeah. So You may all be involved in paddling because you have an ocean. If you live in the mountains, you're not paddlers because there's no ocean. So I used to paddle for Kauai Canoe Club, but I grew up riding a horse. So different. I grew up Paniola because your geography shapes your practice. If you don't have an ocean, then you do mountain things. If you don't have a mountain, then you do ocean things. And so that also shapes the places and the place names of these places. Yeah? How they're all named, why they're named these things, and what happens to the Kanaka or the people of the region. And our island, not just because we live on it, but I say that it's the best island out of all the islands, and not just because we live on it, but because it's so vast, and there's so many different, we have all the climate zones, but there's so much different things that happen on one island. I can, you know, coming from Waimea, it wasn't cold today, but normally it's like 40 degrees. So you can go from 40 degrees to being here in 45 minutes here at the Palace grounds to sweating your ass off. You know, bullets coming off. It's like, oh my God, to being frozen up in the mountains and in just 45 minutes. And if you turn the car, if you would huli the car up the mountain, you could actually hit in 30 minutes up where there's snow. Yeah, or you could just go across an hour to where there's lava coming out, extending the island. Or you're in the most dense rainforest. Or you're in the only island that has a climate zone that is zone desert. Yeah, that actually has the temperature zone of a desert. So you could be in the desert, or you could be in the rolling hills of Waimea, or in the flatlands of wherever. Yeah, there's so many different vast things on this island. And so I think it truly makes Hawaii the best. Yeah. And the old saying, Hawaii noi ka'oi, is the old saying. And I feel like Maui stole it from us, but you know, Maui no ka'oi is the same, but in the old chant it says Hawaii no ka'oi, and I feel like it outdates today's recent Maui no ka'oi. We even have songs to prove it. But it takes me to, I wanted to talk today about naming, name practices, what names mean, where they belong, who was on the landscapes, how it shaped those practices. And so I tell people that if you maupopo or you ike or you know or you understand the name, then you'll understand the practice. Not all the time, but a lot of times. For instance, you know, with this hurricane that just was approaching, did you guys see Wailuku River? Did you see it? That's Rainbow Falls, yeah? The whole river from the top to the bottom is called Wailuku, and how big it was and what it did to all of the houses that was near it, or how wide it expanded. So if you understood that luku means to destroy, you would know that Wailuku means the water of destruction. So then you would know, I don't want to buy the house that's the nearest to the river, because the old Hawaiians that lived here named this for a reason, that this would have been the water of destruction. So maybe I'll go a couple streets in, just in case it decides to get big. Then at least I knew. It's sort of like, I told you so, that's your fault you don't understand it. You know? Like, go research it, they have dictionaries. But it's important so that you understand the names of Kailua, you understand the names of Ahuena, and Kamakahonu, and Hulihe'e, and all the places that are here. Ali'i Drive is a good one as well. I used to sit on the, I used to be one of the commissioners on the county, from the County Board of Cultural Commission. So that was a cultural affair. So all the way from Kinoi's time to more recent. And it was our policies that said when you name places like streets, roads, that they had to make sense to the wahi or the place that it was at. It had to make sort of sense. You couldn't just decide, name the road purple, because we don't have a purple street. You know, you had to name it according to a story, or name it for a reason. Because we said if our kupuna named all of these places for reasons, now when we have to put streets and we have to put roads, we should do the same. So that people understand where, if the family lived there for 200 years, maybe name it after the ohana that lived there, there's a story there. Yeah, when you get to subdivisions, it gets a little hard. Then they start going Alohalani, Pualani, Leilani, Nalani. All that starts happening because it's hard to sort of hone in on every piece of property. But the bigger roads, we said, name it Kuakini, because that's a story. Name it Ali'i, because there's a story there, so that people investigate and find out all these things. So, let's start over here. So this is Kamakahonu. We know as a Kamakahonu. The definition, Kamaka is eyes, Honu is turtle. So the sad thing is that there used to be this whole feature of rocks that came out over here before this wharf was put in. And at the end of it, there was a big rock that looked like a turtle. And it had big eyes and it faced here to Hulihe. And so I think it was called American Ford, not Ford, they just throw the trucks under the bus. American Trading, I don't know, something. In the early days, like back in the early 1900s, I think, they decided that they wanted to make this a big wharf or a big pier. And they couldn't get in because all of those rocks was there. So they dynamited them and blew them all to hell. And so, so people don't understand that Kamakahonu was because of the point there that had this turtle formation. It had the eyes of the turtle sitting there, and that actually was a bigger story that belonged to the flow of Hualalai and how it came down and sort of took all the turtles that was there as well as one of the turtle gods, and that they became the protectors of the bay. So, I mean, it's hard to tell the story after you blow it all up, but we said we make sure that we remember the story so we understand why Kamakahonu. Yeah, it's easier if there was a turtle thing there, you could see it and go, that's why. You know, it would be easier to be able to see the formation and say, that's why it's called Kamakahonu. It's harder today because this doesn't look like Kamakahonu to me. It actually looks like the United Pacifics with all the flags over there. In the bay is, you see that where they have the hale. So that area there is actually where Kamehameha had passed. So the great king, King Kamehameha, that's where he took his last breath. There was a series of houses that was there at one time. This would have been in 1819. And they were called Kunuya Kea. And they were named for Kamehameha's family. It meant the mighty Ku, or the big Ku god. And it was the compound of all the homes that lived there. Yes, the homes that lived there. One of the main homes is called Hale Pua Ilima, and it was surrounded by Ilima flowers. And that's where Kamehameha had lived, and that's also where he took his last breath, was there. That's where he had passed. The heiau we know that's called Ahuena, even though it seems like it's a luau show function, it really is the old heiau. So the part behind it that's the luau show function is not the heiau, but the section in front that actually has the lele and all of that, it was named Ahuena. And actually it's way older than Kamehameha. It was an old heiau. And Ahu, you know what is Ahu? You know what the definition for Ahu is? Or do you know what is an Ahu? If you travel around the island and you see a sort of stacked pile of rocks that look like an altar, that's called an Ahu. So you will see them, and so local style and Hawaiian style, when you see them, you know that is something that's being of a place that's designated for offering something, even as simple as a lei. Yeah, farmers had one in their patches when they harvested the best of their food. They put it onto the ahu, yeah, to offer to their gods. This is for the harvest. Like fishermen did it as well. So there were many ahu all over the place. So this place is called Ahuena. Ena is belongs to the fire clan, and it means red hot or burning hot. So it sort of means the hot altar that's there. And it's because of the royal families that use that. So things that are very hot refers to kapu, or things that are very sacred. Yeah? Things that are sacred are hot, and at the same time you break the kapu, you die by fire. Sort of old style. We should do that again, maybe. But that sort of made things. Well, that's happened there, especially if you're dealing with ali'i kinds of practices. This bay Kailua was called Kaya Kea. There's two. One's a hook, and it belongs to the bay, and one's the bay. Kailua, yeah, Kai is ocean, Lua means two, and it talks about how these currents come. If you paddle this all the time, you'll feel it. There's different currents that blow with the wind or move with the wind, yeah, that will come, and sometimes they will hit each other and create some sort of funnel that's there. Yeah, we tell all our keiki, if you don't know the ocean, then don't go, yeah, because you don't know how to get out of it if it starts throwing you down that side. So always stay in the shallow. Niumalu Yeah, the name here of the coconuts that created shade and sort of a little, things don't look the same as they used to back in one long time ago. So these are all sort of Kamehameha things. The name Kayakea, all of this that has to do with all of that, the Aina that's all over there. Extending all, I'm going to skip this area. This is, the old name here used to be Papa. I'm going to skip that and we'll come back to it. If you go over to this side of the bay, this bay was called Ho'olulu. Ho'olulu. Let's all say it. Ho'olulu. Wait, one more time. Ho'olulu. Nice. Don't forget the Okina. Ho'olulu. Ho'olulu means something else. Ho'olulu, yeah. So this bay, Ho'olulu, that's here. And so, you know, the construction thing sort of shaped it a little bit different as the way that you would have saw it before. Ho'olulu means to be protected. Yeah, and if the landscape was a little bit more different, you would see how the bay sort of curved that all, when the currents came, it missed this cove and how it went around to the other side. So when you looked at it, you could see that, oh, that's why Ho'olulu, this bay seems to be, when the currents come, it goes around it instead of in it. So it became sort of protected. So Ho'olulu. This area here is where King Kamehameha II had lived. Yeah, so the first is there. So you know, if the Ali'i, these are the mighty kings, if they decide that, let's make this our home, that's a whole process. They don't just decide, looks great, pop a tent, let's stay here. Like, they travel with a whole bunch of kahuna, and the kahuna look it all out, look the stars, the moon, everything, look at the land, and they're like, this is not it, keep going. So you keep going. You know, there's a whole process, there's a whole bunch of kahuna that come, they'll say, this is it. The water resources are here, the food is there, the ocean is here, this is perfect, this is, let's line your house this way because the sun rises there, it sets here, this is the protected area. So there's a whole process. It's not as long as the county. If you're building a house in the county, that's a whole other story. So this is more, there's a more spiritual process that happens. I sometimes wish the county had spiritual processes. It might be faster, but that happens. So you know, if there's Ali'i there, this is a Ali'i place, as well as the one next door is Ali'i place, then there's some sort of sacredness or some sort of mana that's in the vahi, or the place, the vahi, that all the priests had seen and foretold that something would happen and this is perfect. Yeah, they have to go through the whole process to realize this is where we're going to put our Ali'i, our beloved Ali'i, the high-ranking firstborns, all of them. So this area, Kona Village, or not Kona Village, Kona Inn, its old name used to be, so like you learned, Kamehameha's housing compound is called Kunuiakea. We named everything, by the way. Everything got a name, including our body parts. That's another talk. But Kunuiakea, so Liho, Kamehameha II, his housing site there was called Honua'ula. Everybody say Honua'ula. Honua'ula. That's actually, there's two. So he had a section of land, a section of houses that were called Papa'ula. Papa'ula, yeah, Papa'ula. And that was his halimua and all those things. So this Honua'ula connects all the way up into the Ahupua'a system of Honua'ula that's there. And it means red earth. Yeah, red earth. Honua is earth, Ula is red. But it really implies the word